The group text notification lit up my phone while I was grocery shopping, pulling items off shelves for my quiet solo Christmas. I glanced at the screen and saw it was from the family group chat, the one that usually coordinated holidays and birthdays. My brother Owen had sent a message to everyone except me, but I was still in the chat. Just confirmed the lake house for Christmas week. Can't wait to see everyone. Going to be the best holiday yet. My stomach dropped. The lake house. Our family's favorite vacation spot for the past 15 years. The place where we'd spent every Christmas since I was 19. Then I scrolled up and saw a message from 3 days ago that I'd somehow missed. My sister-in-law Jennifer, since we're trying to keep Christmas drama-free this year, Owen and I think it's best if Autumn doesn't join us at the lake house. Nothing personal, just want to keep things peaceful. My name is Autumn, and if you're watching this, stay with me, because what my family didn't know was about to become the most expensive mistake of their lives. I stood there in the middle of the cereal aisle, rereading those words. Nothing personal. Drama-free. They'd uninvited me from Christmas and announced it in a group chat like I was an afterthought. My hands were shaking as I scrolled through the responses. My cousin Michelle, probably for the best Uncle Gary, whatever keeps the peace my own father, sounds reasonable. Nobody had defended me. Nobody had questioned it. They'd just accepted that I was the problem and moved on with their holiday planning. I abandoned my shopping cart and walked out of the store, my chest tight, my eyes burning with tears I refused to let fall in public. When I got to my car, I sat there for a long time, staring at my phone, trying to understand what I'd done to deserve this. Yes, I'd had disagreements with Jennifer over the years. She had strong opinions about everything and loved to criticize my choices, my career, my apartment, my dating life, my clothes. And yes, I'd finally started pushing back instead of just taking it. Was that enough to get banned from Christmas? Apparently, it was. I drove home to my apartment, a modest but comfortable one-bedroom that I'd furnished carefully with things I actually loved, not the matching sets Jennifer always insisted were proper. I poured myself a glass of wine and pulled out my laptop. Then I navigated to a folder I rarely opened. Property documents. Investment records. The digital paper trail of the smartest decision I'd ever made. 5 years ago, I'd been working as a software engineer at a startup that got acquired by a major tech company. My stock options had suddenly been worth $340,000. While my family had been pressuring me to buy a house in the suburbs, to settle down properly, I'd done something different. I'd bought the lake house. The actual lake house. The one my family had been renting for 15 years. The one that had just come on the market when the elderly owners decided to sell. The one my family was planning to spend Christmas in. I'd bought it through an LLC, kept it quiet, and continued to rent it back to my family at the same rate they'd always paid, though I'd never told them I was the owner. I'd done it partly as an investment and partly because I loved that place. It held so many memories of Mom, who'd passed away 8 years ago. She'd loved the lake house more than anywhere else on earth. I'd wanted to preserve it. To keep it in the family, even if they didn't know it. But now, looking at that group chat, at how easily they'd erased me from the family Christmas, something shifted inside me. I opened my property management account. The reservation for Christmas week was right there. Booked under Owen's name. Paid in full. Paid to me. My brother had paid me $3,200 to rent my own house for the week, and he had no idea. I sat back, taking a slow sip of wine, and a plan began forming in my mind. The next morning, I called my property manager, a wonderful woman named Diane who handled all the bookings and maintenance for me. Diane, I need to make a change to the Christmas week reservation. Of course. What do you need? I need to cancel it. There was a pause. Cancel it? But they've already paid in full, and it's only 2 weeks away. We'd normally keep the deposit. Refund them everything, I said. Full refund. But send the cancellation notice to Owen's email today. May I ask why? Let's just say the renters are no longer welcome on my property. I could hear the smile in her voice. Understood. I'll take care of it immediately. After we hung up, I poured myself a coffee and waited. The call came 40 minutes later. Owen, his voice panicked. Autumn. Did you see the email about the lake house? I put him on speaker, keeping my voice carefully neutral. What email? The rental got cancelled. 2 weeks before Christmas. The owner is refunding our money, but we can't stay there. Do you have any connections? Anyone who might know of available vacation rentals? Everything else is booked. The irony was delicious. Wow, that's terrible. What happened? I don't know. The email just said the owner decided to use the property personally and we're no longer able to rent it. This is a disaster. Jennifer has been planning this for months. That's really unfortunate, I said, taking a sip of coffee. Have you tried other rental sites? Everything's booked. It's 2 weeks before Christmas. He sounded genuinely distressed. Look, I know things have been weird, but do you think you could help? You're good at finding deals online. I almost laughed. Owen, didn't you uninvite me from Christmas? Silence. Then, that wasn't personal. Jennifer just thought. I know what Jennifer thought. She thought it would be more peaceful without me. So I'm sure she'll figure out the rental situation. She's very capable. Autumn, come on. Don't be like this. I'm not being like anything. You made it clear I'm not part of the family Christmas. So the family Christmas arrangements aren't my problem. Good luck, though. I hung up and blocked his number. The text started immediately in the group chat. Owen, Autumn refuses to help find a new rental. Jennifer, typical. Always has to make everything about her. Michelle, can't we just do Christmas at someone's house? Owen, our house is too small and Dad's place is being renovated. I watched the chaos unfold with a sense of calm satisfaction. Then Jennifer sent a direct message to me, bypassing the block somehow through social media. You're really going to let your family suffer because your feelings are hurt? Grow up. I responded simply, I'm not letting anyone suffer. You uninvited me, remember? Enjoy your drama-free Christmas. The next week was blissfully quiet. I'd blocked most of them, so I didn't have to see the ongoing disaster of their holiday planning. Through my property manager, I learned they'd been frantically trying to find out who owned the lake house, hoping to negotiate getting it back. Diane told me they'd even offered to pay double. I'd told her absolutely not. 3 days before Christmas, I packed my car with groceries, my favorite books, cozy blankets, and drove the 2 hours to the lake house. My lake house. It was exactly as beautiful as I remembered. Nestled in the pines, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the frozen lake, a massive stone fireplace, and that incredible wraparound deck where Mom used to sit with her morning coffee. I stood on that deck now, breathing in the crisp winter air, wearing my oversized forest green cable knit sweater that hung off one shoulder, my copper red hair loose and wavy in the cold breeze. I was barefoot despite the chill, feeling the smooth wood beneath my feet, holding a steaming mug of coffee. This was peace. This was home. I spent Christmas Eve decorating the tree I'd brought, cooking myself an elaborate dinner, watching the snow begin to fall over the lake. I video called my best friend Sarah, who knew the whole story and was incredibly proud of me. You're living your best life while they scramble, she said, raising her wine glass to the camera. This is poetry. It feels good, I admitted. Is that bad? It's not bad. It's justice. They tried to erase you and ended up erasing themselves from the one place they all wanted to be. Christmas morning arrived clear and cold and beautiful. I made cinnamon rolls from scratch, the smell filling the entire house. I was reading by the fireplace when I heard cars pulling up the long driveway. Multiple cars. My peaceful morning shattered. I looked out the window and saw Owen's SUV, Michelle's sedan, Uncle Gary's truck. My father's car. They'd all come. I watched as they started unloading suitcases and bags of gifts, laughing and talking, clearly planning to just use the house anyway. My house. I put on boots and a coat and walked outside onto the front porch, my arms crossed. Owen saw me first and froze. Autumn? What are you doing here? I could ask you the same question. Jennifer climbed out of the SUV, her face already annoyed. We decided to come anyway. We'll deal with the owner later. It's Christmas, and we're not going to let some greedy landlord ruin it. I smiled. Greedy landlord? The person canceled on us 2 weeks before Christmas, Owen said, coming up the porch steps. It was a terrible thing to do. We're hoping if we explain the situation, they'll understand. Oh, I understand perfectly, I said. My father approached, looking tired. Autumn, we know you're upset about the Christmas plans, but can we not do this now? We'll figure out where you can stay. Where I can stay? I interrupted. Dad, this is my house. Complete silence. Snow continued falling softly around us. Owen laughed uncomfortably. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the fact that I own this property. I bought it 5 years ago. You've been renting it from me this entire time. Jennifer's face went pale. That's ridiculous. We rent from, she pulled out her phone, checking her emails. We rent from Lakeshore Property Management. That's my property management company. They manage my house. This house. I pulled out my phone and showed them the property deed, the LLC documents, the tax records. All with my name on them. Owen grabbed my phone, staring at the screen. This can't be real. You couldn't afford this place. Tech startup acquisition 5 years ago. Stock options. I had the money. I bought it. I took my phone back. And I've been renting it to you every year since. Why wouldn't you tell us? My father's voice was quiet, confused. Because I wanted to keep it as a family place without the drama of everyone knowing I owned it. I thought it would be nice to preserve Mom's favorite place, keep the tradition going. I looked at each of them. But then you banned me from Christmas. Called me dramatic. Said it would be more peaceful without me. So I decided I'd spend Christmas here. Alone. In my house. Jennifer's face was bright red. You canceled our reservation out of spite. I canceled it because I wanted to use my own property. That's my right. This is insane, Owen said. You can't just kick out your whole family on Christmas. Actually, I can. Because it's my property. And you're currently trespassing. Uncle Gary had been quiet this whole time, but now he stepped forward. Autumn, sweetheart, I think there's been a misunderstanding. No misunderstanding. Jennifer decided I was too much drama. You all agreed. So I'm giving you what you wanted, a Christmas without me. Just not in my house. Where are we supposed to go? Michelle's voice was small. That's not my problem. Maybe you should have thought about that before uninviting me. I pulled out my phone. You have 30 minutes to leave, or I'm calling the police for trespassing. You wouldn't, Jennifer said. I dialed 911 and held the phone up. Try me. Owen held up his hands. Okay. We'll go. Just give us a few minutes. I nodded and went back inside, leaving them to pack up their cars and figure out their next move. Through the window, I watched them argue among themselves, saw Jennifer yelling at Owen, saw my father looking defeated. I felt a pang of guilt, but then I remembered that group chat. The casual way they'd erased me. And the guilt faded. 28 minutes later, the cars pulled away, leaving deep tracks in the fresh snow. I was alone again. In my house. On Christmas. And it felt perfect. I spent the rest of Christmas Day doing exactly what I wanted. I cooked, I read, I took a long bath, I watched the snow fall over the lake. I video called Sarah again, and we laughed about the look on Jennifer's faces when I'd revealed the truth. They really thought they could just show up and use your house after banning you from Christmas? Sarah was incredulous. The entitlement is stunning, I agreed. That evening, my phone buzzed with a call from my father. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Autumn. His voice was heavy. I owe you an apology. I was quiet, letting him continue. I didn't realize how badly we treated you. Not just the Christmas thing, but before. Jennifer she's been critical of you for years, and I let it happen. We all let it happen. And you never said anything, so we thought it was fine. But it wasn't fine, was it? No, Dad. It wasn't. And then to find out you owned that house the whole time. That you'd been doing that for us, to keep Mom's memory alive, and we repaid you by kicking you out of Christmas. He trailed off. I'm ashamed. Tears pricked my eyes. Thank you for saying that. Can I ask you something? Sure. Why didn't you ever tell us you owned it? I thought about that. Because I wanted it to be about the place, not about me. I wanted everyone to keep making memories there without it being this thing where I was the owner and everyone felt weird about it. I just wanted to preserve what Mom loved. That's really beautiful, sweetheart. And we trampled all over it. Yeah. You kind of did. Is there any way to fix this? I looked around the cozy living room, at the fire crackling in the fireplace, at the snow falling outside. I don't know, Dad. I need time. I understand. For what it's worth, we're at a hotel 30 miles from there. It's not the same. Nothing feels right. And I think everyone's starting to realize what we lost. Not just the house. You. After we hung up, I sat with that conversation for a long time. Part of me wanted to forgive immediately, to invite them back, to fix everything. But another part of me, the part that had been hurt and dismissed and taken for granted, knew that would be a mistake. They needed to sit with this. To understand what they'd done. And I needed to remember that I was worth more than being someone's convenient backup plan. The rest of the week was blissfully peaceful. I hiked around the lake, I cooked elaborate meals, I read 3 books, I took photos of the winter landscape. I sent one photo to the family group chat, a shot of the lake at sunset, taken from my deck, with a simple caption, "Merry Christmas from the lake house." The responses were immediate and varied. Owen, we need to talk. Jennifer, this is childish. Michelle, it's really pretty. My father, beautiful. Your mom would love it. I didn't respond to any of them. On New Year's Eve, I was packing up to head home when there was a knock at the door. I opened it to find Owen standing there alone, looking exhausted. Can I come in? He asked. I hesitated, then stepped aside. He walked into the living room, looking around at the space he'd enjoyed so many times without knowing it was mine. Jennifer and I are getting divorced. I hadn't expected that. Owen, I'm sorry. Don't be. It's been coming for a while. This just made it clear. The way she talked about you, the things she said after we left here on Christmas. I couldn't unhear them. And I realized I'd been letting her control too much. Including my relationship with my own sister. We sat down on the couch, the fire I'd built that morning still glowing softly. I was a terrible brother, he said. I let her run the family dynamics. I let her criticize you and never defended you. And then I went along with banning you from Christmas like it was nothing. Like you were nothing. Why did you? I asked quietly. Because it was easier than standing up to her. Because I'd gotten comfortable letting her make the decisions. Because I'm a coward. He looked at me with red-rimmed eyes. I'm so sorry, Autumn. For all of it. I appreciate that. Can I ask why you bought this place? Really? I told him the truth. About the stock options, about wanting to preserve Mom's favorite place, about thinking I could protect the family memories without the complication of ownership. That's the most you thing I've ever heard, he said with a sad smile. Always taking care of everyone else. Look where it got me. It got you here. In this beautiful house that you own. while the rest of us scrambled around hotel rooms realizing what idiots we'd been. He stood up. "I'm not asking you to forgive me today. Or even this year. I just wanted you to know that I see it now. What we did. What I did. And I'm going to do better." After he left, I sat by the fire for a long time, thinking about forgiveness and family and the price of being taken for granted. I didn't have all the answers. But I knew one thing for certain: I wasn't going back to being the person who swallowed her hurt to keep the peace. I'd bought this house as an investment in family memories, and they'd repaid me by treating me like I was disposable. Well, I wasn't disposable. I was the one with the deed. I was the one who'd made the smart investment. I was the one who'd honored Mom's memory while they'd been too busy with their own drama to even notice. And moving forward, things were going to be different. I didn't rent the lake house to my family the next year. Instead, I spent holidays there alone or with friends who actually valued me. I started renting it out to strangers who left 5-star reviews and treated the property with respect. My relationship with Owen improved slowly. He worked on himself, went to therapy, and actually put in effort to rebuild trust. We had coffee once a month, then dinner every few weeks. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. My father and I found our way back to each other too. He'd been genuinely remorseful, and he proved it through actions, not just words. The others? Michelle, Uncle Gary, Jennifer, the cousins who'd said nothing when I was excluded? They faded into the background of my life. Holiday cards, maybe. The occasional text. But not my inner circle. Not anymore. Because I'd learned something important that Christmas when I stood on my porch and told my family to leave: boundaries aren't cruel. They're necessary. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let people experience the consequences of their choices. They'd wanted a drama-free Christmas without me. They'd gotten exactly that. Just not in the place they'd expected. And I'd gotten my peace, my property, and my self-respect back. The lake house became my sanctuary, my reminder that I was capable of taking care of myself, of making smart decisions, of standing up for my worth even when it was hard. Every time I drive up that long driveway now, I smile. Because it's mine. All mine. And nobody can ever take that away from me. Mom would be proud. I know I am.